Hey everyone, and welcome to, Brad Reviews Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. 2023, just in case they decide to remake this in, 20, 30 years or something like that. I just want to talk about this because obviously I'm a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm sure there are going to be a million other, more well-known reviewers out there talking about it, but I want to throw in my 2 cents. As a casual player, as a person that does play Dungeons and Dragons, and isn't just hopping on the bandwagon now and saying, "Hey, I like it. It's cool. It's interesting. I'm talking about it because it's hip and yada yada and algorithm and all that crap." Um. First off, just in general to get it out of the way, I really liked the movie. I thought everyone did their parts well. I thought the story was interesting, and honestly, if other people want to see it and, need somebody to tag along, I'm willing to do that. Also, I said in a Facebook status when I talked about this, that I would be happy to get this and add it to my DVD collection, one day. Like Sonic and Sonic 2. Again, a couple of movies that I saw that were well worth it. So the review needs a bit more than that. So I'm trying to think of what else I can really say without really spoiling it. One of the big things that I really liked about this was it did feel like a legit campaign. All the stuff that the party went through. At least from a certain point onward. Like the early introducing stuff of oh hey, this person knows this person, and these couple characters, that was good. That was interesting. It worked. And then, getting those people together again, felt good and fitting and interesting. Also, like I said, it felt like a campaign, like a legit campaign where, the actual players, made these ridiculous choices of oh hey, I've got a plan. It's pretty stupid and wild and crazy, but it just might work. Having taken part in at least a couple of games myself, and having watched enough, Oxventure, and a bit of Critical Role, I can for sure say that, some of those wacky off-the-wall plans felt pretty at home in your normal game of D&D. I will be honest, I would not have thought of that stuff. And also being on the spot at the table, you might not come up with as big and grand, solutions and ideas that they did, but honestly, you guys have surprised me in the past. My friends, other players, etc., etc. You've surprised me with some of the crazy ideas that you've come up with that, may have had a wall or two, but you eventually got to work. And holy cow. That's all. Tired. That's amazing. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else I could say before I get into, potentially touching on spoilers, because unfortunately I'm gonna have to touch on spoilers at least a little bit for the early part of the movie, just to give some context and whatnot to everything I say. I don't know. I'm kind of winging this, honestly. I don't think there is much else. So I'm going to say minor spoiler warning right now. I'm doing the hand thing because, it's a visual thing also. But yeah, just letting you know. I'm going to talk about some minor spoilers for the very for early parts of the movie. And then I will cut off after a certain point, because you don't need to know every single detail about it. But yeah, starts off with, a couple of our characters are in jail and they break out, and establishing the reason of okay, what are we going to do now, and what are we going to do now, and how are we going to get that done. That felt very good and organic, and it worked. And then the major conflict that they run up against, again, it felt fitting and good. So far, I'm not very spoilery. I'm liking that. I just threw that warning in there just in case I do, because I might. Yeah, and then, like, you know, like I said, they get their party back together. Because, you know, they'd split up. They made some new friends along the way, and they bring them into the fold, and they do some cool, interesting stuff with it. Like, it's funny and interesting and crazy. And also, I would like to state, you know, that it is funny, but it is also serious. And it does at least keep those things separate. Like I think we've seen in at least some of the Marvel movies, like, oh hey, like, we're going to have this nice serious moment and just, you know, hit it with a joke at the end, and it just, like, hurts the moment. Obviously, they've had, you know, like, a good number of moments where it has been a moment and then they moved on. But, like, they didn't kill a good moment here. They're like, oh hey, we're going to have some fun here, but, you know, we're also going to have a serious backstory here. And, like, this person, you know, owning up to their own faults and dealing with that. And, yeah, like, it was a compelling story. You know, being a bit more critical and analytical at points, there were some things that were like, oh, obviously, you know, this is foreshadowing for something later in the movie. I'm not going to say anything specific, because if I even touch on it, you'll know it when you see it, and I don't want to ruin that for anybody. I'm trying to think of what else there's to say now that I can talk freely with minor spoilers. I really liked our villain. The final face-off, you know, where everybody, like, got to take their shots at this character was cool and interesting, and, like, the character growth for everybody was cool. One character, like, one of the actors, I've seen in a couple things before, you know, they've played basically kind of the, you know, nerdy, wimpy type of character, and, like, they're good at it, and I appreciate it, but, like, I want to see, like, when I see them, I don't see their character. I see, oh, hey, it's actor. They're being a cowardly nerd again. Like, I don't know. I think they need to stretch, is all I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, they couldn't have, you know, they couldn't all be 100% badass character. But I hope in the future, like, they get to be something more than just nerdy coward. Like, super genius, something. Like, obviously, flawed is important. I don't know. If you've seen the movie, you probably know who I'm talking about. Again, I don't want to spoil it here, but I do have to say I appreciated that person's character arc. You know, they had to deal with their own inner demons, and they did. And it was a nice thing. You know, obviously it's good for everybody, so hey, thank you for being that character this time. And thank you for doing something with that character, rather than just going, oh no, this person's a cowardly dork the entire time. Like, this person goes from pretty not impressive to, okay, I'm not going to mess with this person. Let's see. One of the other characters doesn't get, like, as much development, which kind of stinks. Like, oh hey, you know, I'm working with you guys. I have my good reasons for it, but they don't get a nice little character arc thing of like, oh hey, I get to grow and become better. It's just, you're pretty much the same person as when you started. Granted, you have your good reasons for doing this, but still, like, you're not different. Actually, two characters, now that I think about it. I think I've got it with two characters. And it's not terrible, it's just, I don't know, like, I wish they could have come up with something, but coming up with something would be a bit harder. And probably would have taken away from the story. So, it's fine, but it's noted by me. Like, honestly, on the, you know, out of 10 scale, I would say this is definitely a good 8 out of 10 movie. This is definitely a good, you know, just, hey, I want to see a fun fantasy movie, you know, that is entertaining, but you don't have to be obsessed with D&D and know everything about to see and enjoy. Because I've heard a number of people have said, "Oh, hey, I like this because it appealed to the casual viewers, but also appealed to hardcore D&D players." Like, I'm not hardcore myself. I'm somewhere between has at least played a couple games and DM's games, so I know a thing or two, but I don't know everything. Um, Overall, yeah, like I said, I'd say it was worth it. It was fun. It was interesting. I loved it. If people want to see it again, I wouldn't mind seeing it with them. In terms of seeing this movie at the theaters, honestly, for sure, well worth, a $5 movie Monday day. But also, like, oh, hey, my buddies are getting together, like, Thursday or Friday or Saturday after work. Like, let's go check it out. Totally worth it then, also. Going to see the movies, it is a cool experience. Like, I haven't done it recently, well, since January. But yeah, like, it is a cool thing to do every time you get to do it. So, yeah. Hopefully that's enough information. Hopefully you guys got what you needed out of this, review, discussion, etc. If you've seen the video, if you've seen the movie, comment below with your thoughts, opinions, and such, and like, hey, we get a bit of dialogue going. Obviously try and keep spoilers light for at least, I don't know, sometime after this comes out, because I saw it pretty much the day after it came out. So I'd say at least a month or so before we touch on more spoilers than what I talked about already, which was kind of just the early stuff. But yeah, other than that, everyone, have fun, stay safe, keep hydrated, and remember, every character, every movie, every script has a story to tell. I'm Valiant Bradley James, character investigator, casual D&D player, and dude who wanted to talk about D&D, Honor Among Thieves, 2023. Until next time, peace.